really wanted to believe in this finale. I really did. One thing I gotta say before I go and completely dissect this finale is I love the Amazing Digital Circus. Heck, why else would I make my freaking profile picture on YouTube a picture that I drew of Pomni? I mean, how can any niche art kid like me not like the Amazing Digital Circus? It's got fun little characters, great animation, emotional storytelling, and even more. And I just love the concept. I love them going on little adventures every episode. I love the unhinged nature of it. I just love it. But you cannot expect me to like this finale, okay? Listen, it's nice to see all these kids going out dressed up in their Amazing Digital Circus costumes. It's nice to see that it got a theatrical release, which I went to go see with my mom, and then we got Cracker Barrel afterwards. Did see some kids saying that they bawled their eyes out. It was the most emotional thing ever. But personally, I really didn't like it. And I wanted to go over today why. Normally, I would do this in a silly little video I got the idea from this person, okay? You should go subscribe to him, link in the description. But since I've been studying a lot about story these past couple years and even been trying to produce my own, I figured it was only fair I give one of these commentary videos and point out very specific things. Okay, anyway, let's get through, and this is still gonna be funny, okay? I swear it is, even if my voice sounds a little boring, because I've just had the most exhausting time since graduation, okay? Even though I now have got some freedom. But before we get into that, please make sure to like, subscribe, and go follow the Instagram post if you want more stuff on my stories, okay? Link in the description. Alright, so in case you don't know, the Amazing Digital Circus is about these people who are stuck in a little video game, and they're desperately trying to get out, otherwise this AI, named Kane, is gonna torture them with all these dang adventures. However, through these adventures, they kind of learn stuff about each other. They learn to cope with trauma, to do all this stuff, to accept themselves more. Just basic human stuff like that a lot of people struggle with. I'm gonna say it straight up here. The whole entire point of the series was that they had to get out of the circus. And I'm just gonna say it right now. Big spoilers. I'm not even waiting here. They don't get out of the circus! My big gripe with this, other than the fact that that was literally the entire point of the series, is that it lowers the stakes so much. So, like, now if I go back and watch the series, I'll know that it was all for nothing. Them trying to get out of the circus. Them panicking about everything. It was all for nothing! Because within a story, you gotta have stakes. I'm sorry, but if you have no stakes, your story is gonna fall flat on its face. I'm sorry, but the last episode literally ended with Kinger killing Kane, and instead of all the adventures breaking through or something exciting happening that was kinda advertised a little bit on the poster, it doesn't happen. We don't even get to see Jax abstract.
But, peppers are preppy. The reason we don't get to see Jax abstract is because, it's supposed to invoke wonder in us so that we don't ever know what someone looks like when they abstract.
Shut up! Genuinely shut up! If a major plot point happens off screen, how are we even gonna know what happens? Like, literally, my first time around watching this, I didn't even think that was Jax. I thought that was all of the people who abstracted. It was only when Pomni went up to the abstracted curator and went inside him, oh, and also Zool was like, oh man, he abstracted, was when I actually realized that that was Jax. Also, I forgot to mention that literally during this entire episode, Gangle will just randomly start crying, and I get that she has bipolar and that's common, but I mean, for the plot, how many times can you have this happen? And then just at random moments, like literally during the end, there's a happy moment, and literally she just randomly starts crying, and literally it's just a chance for Zooble to come in and be like, oh, it's okay, baby. I still can't remember if these two are supposed to be a couple or if they're supposed to be best friends, but at least it's not a toxic friendship, though, or relationship. I don't know. Gooseworks, the creator, said that there weren't supposed to be any romantic relationships in the show, but it's pretty obvious that Kinger and Queenie were supposed to be together. I mean, that's romantic, and I mean, you could consider Pomni and Gummy Goo, but I mean, I guess I'm happy for Gangle and Zooble. I mean, whatever you consider their relationship, but I seriously don't know. Can someone just clarify for me in the comments, like... Alright, I got my confirmation, and, I can't give her too much, clout for doing that. Anyway, sort of similar to Stranger Things, Pomni ends up going into Jax and finding all these... I don't really know what you call them, but basically he romanticized for some reason. If each character abstracted. I don't really know why exactly this was necessary to the story. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of it. I'm sorry. But it just seemed to drag on for too long, and I don't really know why we need to see this. However, what we saw next, I can definitely see why we needed to see it. Also, I didn't catch this the first time, but basically there's a scene where Jax romanticizes Zubal's death, or abstraction, whatever you call it, and Gangle is basically planning the funeral, and Jax shows up in a maid's dress to try and, I guess, disrespect Zubal. And then, I don't really know what their conversation was like. It was probably like, I hate you or whatever, but at the end of the conversation, Jax literally invites Gangle to... He invites her to his room after the funeral. I can't make this stuff up.
I hate you. What? Don't act like you don't like it, sweet cheek. Meet me in my room after the funeral.
So after that, Pomni enters a room with a whole bunch of Jaxes in them. And basically, we literally get a reference to how bad this episode, literally in the episode here.
Yeah! I mean, killing off the comic relief character? What a freaking drag! This whole episode's been nothing but wah, wah, wah!
So within this room, there's a door that they don't want Pomni to go in, but, you know, she goes in anyway. And we get this Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows style flashbacks of basically Jax and what happened with him, Ribbit, and Kaufmo. And I know I see all these kids glazing Jax like, oh my gosh, I've never related to a character more. Oh my gosh, he's literally so sad. No, the way he feels guilty about turning on Ribbit and Kaufmo. And I mean, Jax is somewhat of a relatable character. We all have little guilts that we go through, things that we wish we could have done better. The conflict resolved, not how like we thought we would, and we realized that it's all our fault in the ending. Just from my experience, I know that was a little choppy, but come on. However, unlike most people who I would defend that go through something like this, I can't defend Jax here. He was a jerk to just about everyone throughout the whole entire series, and all of a sudden they're just like, oh, let's dedicate the entire finale to him. And I'm not saying that you can't write mean characters that are likable. I mean, Captain Clark, for example, he at least stays in the back rooms because he realizes that he can't be redeemed. But also, throughout this entire flashback, Jax randomly goes from being vulnerable with Ribbit to straight up gaslighting her and abandoning her, which causes her to abstract. And this would be different if, like, say, we got a scene where maybe Ribbit exposed some of his little backstory to, say, Kaufmo or Kinger, or maybe even Ragatha. But instead, he just goes straight to being mean. And I mean, I get that people are sensitive and whatever, but I just don't think this works in a cartoon. Plot points should not be this hard to figure out, no offense. And then here comes Kaufmo all like, hey, you look like you could need some help, you know, I'm always here for you. No, get away from me. I know Gooseworks also said that Jax was not really a good person, but you can't tell me that he's been redeemed. All because we know that his father left, which is a pretty painful thing to happen, and then he literally almost killed his mom. But you're really telling me that he went from gaslighting and bullying Ribbit to bullying everyone in the circus to unleashing all that anger on Gangle. And now somehow that makes him fully redeemed. Listen, I know anger is a hard emotion to deal with, but you can't take it out on other people for too long. So that's... And, like, you control your own anger. I hate to call people out, but you can't keep using your same anger, like, bully people. Maybe I'm just misinterpreting this, but a whole bunch of people seem to agree that Jax was not redeemed, and Jax is a bad person. Okay, so Pomni sees these memories, and we cut back to the circus, where you would not believe what happens. Oh man, major plot twist coming up! What the hell is Kane doing here? Yeah, so apparently, Kane didn't actually die, unlike what we just heard about, and apparently he's in, like, this little void area. I don't really know what exactly you call this area. I just know that it was explored in the first episode. But basically, oh my gosh, this makes me so mad, because isn't Kane supposed to be erased from existence? Like, Kinger didn't say, oh, I accidentally moved Kane to the void. He said that he deleted Kane. Also, how was he spying on them if he's trapped in the void? This was never explained. Also, did Bubble get sent to the void with him? Is that what this little Bubble is? Was Bubble the second AI? None of this, if I'm remembering correctly, was explained. But anyway, he's trapped in this little void place, and, oh my gosh, the most exciting thing happens. He literally takes 3 hours just to climb up to this door. Like, I'm serious. Yeah, so he finds a door and then he takes 3 hours to climb up to it. This was actually really painful to watch.
One hour later.
Office. And that's on period.
Two hours later. Three hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
I'm sorry guys, my inner flop talk flew out. Anyway, after Kane takes 3 years to get to this door, he ends up finding a whole bunch of different things, I guess that were components of the circus, and we think that he bought Scratch back, but apparently he didn't because he doesn't show up. But anyway, here's where he finds everyone's social medias and realizes that they're all brain scans. My main gripe with the scene, other than the fact that it was too dang long when we could have been focusing on other things. Okay, but was the fact that he was just able to, like, come back so fast. Like, at the end of the 8th episode, like, you're all like, oh man, are they gonna die? But turns out they don't. And also, he doesn't bring back the abstracted people, so where did they go? I don't know why he doesn't bring back the abstracted people, because that would have been pretty nice to see Ribbit and Kaufmo again. Maybe Pomni gets a proper introduction to them. But anyway, Kane returns to the circus and lets them know that they're all brain scans and they're not getting out. And you think that they would be having a literal midlife crisis at this point. I mean, their friend, who may have been who may have been a complete bully to them, literally just abstracted, meaning they literally just died. And at that moment, at any moment they could abstract, they just automatically accept that this is their life. They're just brain scans. They're trapped here forever. Oh man, this had me fuming so much. Because like I said, the entire point of this show was that they had to get out of the circus. At least, if they were going to be brain scans, which apparently a whole bunch of people predicted, at least make them have a midlife crisis. And then came the scene that made me really have it. So Kane keeps the worlds open, and I bet you're probably wondering what happened to the abstracted people. Oh man, I wonder. I can't be the only one who got viscerally disturbed by this scene. 'Cause what do you mean? They're just forced to watch all their loved ones swim around like that for the rest of eternity. What if something else happens and one of the other people has to abstract? Does Kane even know a way that they can save the abstracted people? I'm sorry, but genuinely, this reminds me of the end scene of the movie Tusk, which, in case you didn't know, is a movie about a guy who gets sewn into a walrus by some weird doctor. And at the end, his friend and his ex-girlfriend, who, by the way, was cheating on him when all of this happened, go visit him, and he literally starts crying because he knows he can never be a human again. Also, from what we know about Jax, these people, or at least these versions of people, are stuck in there with all their traumatic memories for the rest of their lives. And people are just supposed to look at them, or at least the alive ones are still supposed to look at them through the glass. They're literally trapped in hell, and these Kinger and Pomni are literally just like, oh, I'm so happy that I still get to see the abstracted version of my friend. Are you not the least a little bit disturbed? I'm sorry, but this scene just genuinely disturbed me because those are still, even if they're just brain scans, they're still like, they still have human traits. And since we're not getting a season 2, that means that version of Queenie, that version of Ribbit, that version of Kaufmo, they're never gonna see, the light of day ever again. And listen, I'm happy for Gangle and Zooble that they ended up together or whatever, but I really wanted Kinger to see his wife again. That episode 3, really made me cry, seeing him lament about his wife. When they hugged, I was like, oh man, please bring her back. I'm sorry, guys. But this entire finale just reminds me of that one Black Mirror episode. This guy literally tortures his versions of his coworkers, and the versions of his coworkers are still tormented. So even in a virtual world, you gotta have some empathy. And, I get that Gooseworks had some good ideas going into this with all the scripting, some good themes, some good things to address. But, I just feel like it could have been executed better. When you say the epic finale, or not really epic, but finale is coming to theaters, I'm expecting a whole-on adventure with maybe a little bit of action here and there. Yes, we still have a lot of emotions to go over, but I'm not expecting this. I want something, I guess better. I want all my questions to be answered. I'm really sorry if I hurt anyone's feelings who really liked this finale, but these are all just my personal opinions, and, you can decide to defy them. But enough about the circus. I just want to know your thoughts down in the comments, and maybe something that'll contradict me and maybe even hypnotize me into believing that this was a good finale. And that was pretty much all the stuff that really made me Gangle, no! Do not give your art to that AI!